Hey guys, I don't know what the weather's like back in Cheltenham today. I'm down on the Dorset Coast, but right here it is windy as hell. That's the Isle of Wight up there, and it's a very steadily, if not strong, wind from the west to east. So I'm about to do my intervals, and I've pretty much got like a 2k stretch from here. It's all road, it's all running along the coast, and it's going to be fun on the way with the wind, but it's going to be tough on the way back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1k fast, 1k slow with the wind first, and I'll turn around and do the same on the way back. I've got 8k to do, so it's going to be a bit of a slog, but it's actually only 2 hours and backs, so that makes it sound pretty easy, right? But the way I'm going to approach it is to resist getting carried away with the wind. You know, it'd be very easy for me on the downwind to average, 1 or 2 kilometers an hour faster than what I've got in my program, and it may feel great at the time. It may feel like the slow is ridiculously slow if I stick to it, but if I don't stick to those speeds, or at least close to them, what I'm anticipating is on the way back I'm not going to be able to get to the speeds that are in my program. And I might not anyway, right? Even if I do stick to the speeds in the plan, I may not be able to keep up with what's going to be 13 and a half kilometers an hour into a headwind on the fast period and 12 and a half on the slow. The chance that I won't be able to hit those, especially in that second headwind rep. So effectively my last 2k back into the wind. But at least if I keep the speed safe or to plan in the first half of the run, give myself the best chance of being able to tackle that last fast into the wind with the energy to survive it and do my best with it. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know, and I'll post the splits. So I should just add that there's even a pretty good chance that I won't hit my speeds at all today. If you imagine, running in conditions like this with wind, it's very similar to running with hills, right? Even though I'm going to be able to just cruise it on my fast with the wind, I'm going to find it really tough going into the wind on the way back, and that's going to spike the intensity and have me hit intensities that the program's not really trying to get me to hit until maybe later in the session. But I'm probably going to hit those high peaks on my first time back. So coming back into the wind for my first fast, I'm going to achieve a much higher intensity, a higher heart rate than what the session plan is really supposed to get me to hit. So there's a good chance that I'm going to struggle to hit the speeds that are prescribed in the plan, or at least I'm going to have to push a lot harder than what the plan's actually aiming for me to achieve. So again, if I don't hit those target speeds, you know why. Alright, so that went pretty much as hoped and expected. We'll dive into my Garmin Connect stats if it's uploaded, and see how it went. I'll talk you through it. Okay, so here's the run that I've just put in. I was hoping I could view this in landscape, but I'm not sure it's going to turn for me. I've just tried it and it wouldn't in this particular view, but you can see there's the stats of the run. So as I said, 8k up and down Barton-on-Sea, and had a nice view of the Isle of Wight as I went. You can have a look at the stats here, but most important is the lap times or split times. So the average pace per kilometre, because I was doing 1k fast, 1k slow. It turned out that my 2k stretch was more like 1.8k unfortunately. So it meant that each slow, so the slow at the end of the head of the tailwind, I had to do part of that into a headwind, which just meant that I had to put a bit more effort in at the end of my slow, and then I'd carry that into the fast. So it actually worked quite well. But here are the stats in landscape. So the speeds I was aiming for were 425 and 445 approximately. It's about 426 and 448 I think, but you can see the first lap there, 426 bang on for the 1k. So you can be looking at average pace there, or you can look at time, either one doesn't make a difference. You can see the average heart rate, 167, oops, sorry, that was the maximum, so the average 148, and yeah, the same as the slow. So you can see that first couple of K was really very comfortable for me, as expected, whereas the first fast into the headwind up to 168, hopefully you can see that, with a max heart rate of that 1K at 175. And that came down a little bit, going down to 12.5 kilometers per hour, so 162 on the second slow, with a max of just 171. And then I was back downwind with an average speed of 426 for the, so that's the, was that the third fast. And again, the average heart rate only 157, so a bit higher than the first one, but still that's relatively comfortable. I mean, that's kind of the sort of heart rate I'd average for a long distance run. So the 16K I did the other day was probably around 155 on average. So again, really comfortable going downwind, and obviously the same went with the slow. Obviously some more of that slow was into a headwind, so maybe elevated a little bit, and I was a little bit slow on that slow, more because I got distracted and stopped, didn't watch my speed as well as I should have. It certainly wasn't because I was struggling to keep up the slow speed. And then we got into the headwind hell on my, what was that then, the fifth, or whatever it was, the fourth and final headwind. No, see, it was not the fourth. Anyway, you can see the seventh lap, the 7th K, 423, so I managed to hit my speed, average heart rate 171, so the highest average heart rate so far. And then the slow was a 165, so the highest slow so far. And yeah, that last, the 9th K, I'm pretty sure that must just be a little tiny, that's why it was 3 seconds long. So I was looking at the pace of that last K, but it was only 3 seconds. So yeah, that 7th K was the final fast, and that was the fourth fast. So in terms of how that went, you know, it was good. As expected, you know, I had the energy to take on the headwind. What I didn't mention in the preamble was that it is pancake flat, like flatter than I would run around Cheltenham, and I had to cross the road a few times, but it wasn't, I never had to stop for traffic, foot traffic, or hit cars, so I was able to keep my flow, although each turnaround was a 180-degree turn, so that certainly slowed me down, but nothing like the interruptions I'd have crossing roads through Cleve and Cheltenham, or the hills. So it did make the whole workout much more achievable, and yeah, smashed it. But it could have been terrible. I'm telling you honestly, every one of those downwinds I was going too fast at certain points and had to really rein myself back, and it was lovely to do that. It was yeah, it was nice thinking, you can just slow down now, no problem, just slow down. But then of course it was always that fear finishing off my slow into the headwind, thinking, oh my god, I'm about to have to smash it now into this headwind for a kilometre in order to try and hit that fast speed. But I had the energy to do so. Just stood up tall, drove the knees and elbows, kept the head looking straight ahead into the wind, and, you know, it blowed me around a bit, but it's no problem. Just smash it and finish the K and go on to the slow and push harder into the wind for the slow. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this, guys. I'm sure that every one of us will have at some stage got one of these interval sessions, or even an even pace run in the wind wrong, because I think we're taking advantage of the tailwind by going faster than what we're supposed to be doing, and actually what we're doing is put our body under stress that we don't need to be, and therefore making the end of the run much harder than what we need to be, and often sabotaging it for us, or making it a lot harder than what it needs to be. So there we have it, guys. Crushed that. Wasn't expecting it to be that I shouldn't say easy. I mean, honestly, on that last K into the headwind, it was a good 9 out of 10, and even on the last slow was a good 9 out of 10, because I knew that if I did relax like I wanted, my body wanted to on the last slow rep, I knew that my speed would plummet and I would not hit the 12.5 for that last slow rep. So it wasn't easy, but it was easier than it could have been, right? It could have been much easier if I had run too fast on the downwinds and put my body under that extra stress that it just didn't need to put up with. So yeah, hope this helps, guys. Hope you use this next time you're taking on a headwind and tailwind, and don't let it put you off. Don't let it disrupt your workout too much. All right, see you soon.